So for tonight's class, I wanted to talk about the idea of surrender from that yogic perspective. So sometimes when we hear the word surrender, we get these parts of us that get activated and we're like, I don't want to sacrifice anything. I don't want to give up anything. And well, surrender definitely suggests that. I want to put it in a new context for you because usually we think we have to be self-sacrificial to grow and to make progress in our spiritual path, even our mental path, even our lives, working through the world in general. That there's give and take, and I want to present another idea around that, and that is that there's this idea that we are constantly seeking, that we are driven by desire, and that is, to use a word, an affliction of the ego. I'm definitely driven by desire. Trust me, I'm not perfect over here myself, but we are driven through the world by wanting and needing things. And many of those things we need because we need to survive. So there's definitely no vilifying of the fact that you have desire. But the truest surrender, when you are working maybe in meditation or when you are contemplating how much you need something or want something, is to step into the space of non-seeking. And so this even goes toward your spiritual practice. We tend to have a spiritual seeking aspect of our consciousness, the one that brings us to yoga, the one that has us sit down in meditation, that really wants there to be growth in our lives and is really driving us forward. But you can imagine that when this drive goes into overdrive, when it starts working really, really hard, it can push us in ways that are actually not as helpful. And one thing that yoga teaches is that we have to, of course, do the work. We have to do the tapas. We have to show up and be present and sit and do the yoga and all that stuff. But there's also this idea of letting go at the same time. And I think meditation is a perfect example of how this works. So I won't talk too much longer before we practice, but in the classical 8 limbs of yoga, the last 3 limbs are actually aspects of meditation. So there is dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Dharana is the only one of those 3 that you can actually practice because it's just concentration. It's sitting down and just focusing on the object of meditation. At a certain point, you have to let go of the practice enough to let the next 2 stages spontaneously arise. So this non-seeking, this is actually just a letting go of having to do anything. It's a surrendering to the process. It's surrendering to trust, surrendering to the universe, which is very scary for many parts of us. But I want our practice tonight to actually work toward that comfort and letting go around that. So we're definitely going to work. We're going to do some yoga. We're going to do some meditation. But there's going to be certain points where I'm going to call you into just being and just allowing whatever is there for you to spontaneously just be there for you. Sound good? So the surrender we're talking about is non-seeking. It's about stepping back and just allowing what comes to come with no expectation. So let's go inward, sitting comfortably. And relax your shoulders down your back. Feel the crown of the head lift toward the sky. And bring your awareness to your breath. Bring your awareness to your body and to your mind. I'm sure that your mind has some thoughts about everything I just talked about. Just be aware of what the tone might be like. Agreeance, non-agreeance, confusion, uncertainty, comprehension, any parts that might be up. And just allow them to be there. Don't try to make sense of it. Don't try to control it. Allowing yourself just to be aware of everything without any emotional pull to change it, control it, to stop it. Maybe allowing a gentle contemplation of what surrender means to you. Yes, I've given you an idea of what yoga might qualify it, but it is a unique experience. What does surrender mean to you? Are there areas of your life that you are grasping toward? There's a belief that you need something, that you have to do something. A good question to ask yourself when one of those beliefs come up or one of those desires is just ask yourself, is this true? Do I actually need that thing? Do I actually have to believe that? Do I have to associate a present experience with a past experience? All ideas we'll contemplate tonight. So keeping this contemplation open in your heart and in your mind, we'll chant the sound Om 3 times. You can join me or just listen. Taking a deep breath in, we'll begin. Just bring your palms to your heart and lower the chin and honor yourself as you are in this moment. Inviting in all the parts of you for this practice. Go ahead and rub the palms together, creating heat. And take the heated palms over your eyes, brushing over the top of your head, down the neck, bringing yourself back to the room. And let's come onto hands and knees to start. Table pose, please. If you want to use a blanket underneath your knees, you're totally welcome to here. Any old blanket will do. So bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees come underneath your hips or slightly further back. Inhale, look forward with your heart, feel the tailbone lift. As you exhale, round the back and go all the way back to child's pose. Inhale back up. And exhale again back to child's pose. And let's just do a few more of these, getting the body nice and warmed up for the exercises, the practice that comes forward from this. Inhaling up to hands and knees, exhale child's pose, moving on your breath, breath and movement linked together. Good, one more time. And then go all the way back to child's pose and take your arms down by your side. Good. With your next inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, lift up onto the knees and reach the arms overhead, Virasana. With your exhale, sweep the arms down, hinge at the hips, coming back down into folded child. Inhale, come back up again, sweep the arms out to the side, lift up onto the knees, heart lifts toward the ceiling at the top, and exhale, releasing down. Let's continue. Inhale, coming on up. And exhale, releasing on down. Moving on your breath, warming up your lower back here. There's some core engagement, and of course the shoulders are moving, so we're getting some shoulders and arms in here as well. Maybe noticing what's there for you in your body this evening. Maybe there's some tension as you move, becoming aware of that. Maybe you're noticing the engagement of certain muscles that are necessary to continue this movement for a couple more rounds. At the top of your next inhale, stay in the pose. Exhale here, lifting up, and interlace your fingers and press your palms away from your head. Good. Now, instead of just thrusting the shoulders back and taking this all into your lower back, think about grounding your tailbone down toward the floor. So a little tuck of the tail there. Good. And then reach through the wrists and feel the navel pull back towards your spine. Good. Inhale, reaching through the wrists. Exhale, navel to the spine. Tail tucking under slightly. Do a couple of more. One more time, reaching through the wrists, inhale. Exhale, navel tucking back. Deep breath in. And then exhale, release all the way down. Folded child. Feel sensation from that exercise. Maybe it started producing some heat in your body. Good. Then take the arms forward. Inhale up to hands and knees. Curl the toes under. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So it's the first down dog of class, so go ahead and walk it out a bit. Press a heel to the floor and bend the opposite knee. Breathing length into the legs and length into your spine. Breathing here. Good. With your next inhale, come into plank pose, straight line push-up. And with your exhale, plank yourself all the way down to the ground, either straight down or knees down, chest down. Release the feet. Feeling the pelvis ground, lift the head, chest, and legs, locust pose. And exhale, float down. Inhale again, locust pose, head, chest, legs lift. And exhale, release. One more time for now. And exhale, release down, curl the toes under, and see if you can lift the knees first and plank yourself straight up. If not, it's okay to use the knees. And then push back to downward facing dog. All right, so in downward facing dog, lift your right leg high into the air behind you. With your exhale, swing or carry step the right foot all the way between the hands. Help it through, okay? Back knee on the ground. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of work with a lunge here. There's a few movements to it, so listen carefully, follow along carefully. Inhale, lift the arms up for the crescent lunge. With your exhale, bring the hands down to the floor and straighten the right leg. Pull the toes toward you. Good. Inhale, rock forward, lift the arms up again. This time, exhale, bring the arms down to the inside of the right leg, allowing the heart to sink toward the floor. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the heart as if you're trying to reach it toward forward, whatever that direction is for you. And then exhale, bend the elbows, sink down a little bit deeper. Good. Then inhale, straighten the arms, bring the right hand to the outside of the right foot, and then step back to downward facing dog. Good. And it's a lot of parts, but we'll get used to it. Left leg lifts. Exhale, step the left foot between the hands, helping it through. Back knee coming down to the ground. So again, inhale, lift the arms up for the crescent lunge. And exhale, bring the hands down, straighten the left leg, pull the toes back, hamstring stretch. Inhale, rock forward, lift the arms up again, heart opening. Exhale, bring both hands down to the inside of the left foot, feel the heart sink. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, bend the elbows. Good. Inhale, straighten the arms. Bring the left hand to the outside of the left foot. And again, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale, plank yourself down to the floor. Pelvis grounding, locust pose lift. Head, chest, and legs, please. Exhale, release. Curl the toes under, push up to plank, and back to downward facing dog. So let's do that again on the first side. Right leg lifts. Exhale, swing or carry, step the right foot forward, release the back knee. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, bring the hands down to the floor and straighten the right leg, pull the toes back. And inhale, rock forward, lift the arms up again. Exhale, hands come to the inside of the right foot, bend the elbows, sink down as far as you can. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the heart. Exhale, bend the elbows. Good. Straighten the arms. Bring the right hand to the outside of the right foot and step back, downward facing dog. Good. When you're ready, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it on through. Help it through. Back knee releases. Crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale, palms to the ground. Straighten the front leg. Pull the toes back. And inhale, rock forward. Lift the arms up again. Exhale, both hands to the inside of the foot this time. Bend the elbows, sinking the heart. Inhale, straighten the arms. And then exhale, sink again. Bend the elbows. Good. Straighten the arms. Inhale. Take the left hand to the left side of the left foot and step back to downward facing dog. Again, plank pose. Exhale, down to the earth. Locust rise, head, chest, and legs. Inhale. And exhale down, curl the toes under. Go ahead and lift up into plank and back into downward facing dog. We'll do that Kriya or series one more time. Right leg lifts. Exhale, step. Help it through. Back knee on the ground, crescent lunge, inhale. Exhale, both hands to the floor, straighten the right leg, pull the toes back. Inhale, rock forward, lift the arms, heart lifting. Exhale, keep that length as you bring the hands to the inside of the foot, then bend the elbows. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, sink the heart. Good. Inhale, straighten the arms, bring the right hand to the outside of its foot, and step back, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Exhale, step the foot all the way forward. Good. Back knee on the ground. Inhale, come up. Crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor. Hamstring stretch. Pull the toes back. Inhale, rock forward. Lift the arms. Exhale, both hands to the inside of the foot. Heart sinking down. Inhale, straighten the arms. Heart lifts. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Good. Straighten the arms. Inhale. Take the left hand to the outside of its foot. And again, step back to downward facing dog. Plank pose. Exhale to the earth. Locust rise. Exhale, release. Downward facing dog, pushing up and back. Take an adjusting breath here. Feeling how the body feels. Having moved through that series a few times. The deep stretch in the hips, the deep stretch in the hamstrings. We'll work in the pelvis, the core, and even some stuff around the heart. Go ahead and walk your hands back to meet your feet, coming into the standing forward fold here. And grab opposite elbows, waterfall pose. Knees are slightly bent. Shoulders, head and neck release. Just hang here for a few more breaths. When we work with surrender, it's hard to not go straight for the hips. To go straight really for the first two and we'll say third energy center as well, chakras. The lower triangle is often called is where we hold what's called lower mind or ego state. And so when we have these grasping desires in our lives, these things that pull us, sometimes in good ways, sometimes in not great ways, through the world, they exist down here. So we're going to start stirring that up a little bit more. We're going to start getting that really nice and stoked so that when we actually contemplate what we can surrender, what we can stop seeking, even for a moment, we'll know what that non-seeking actually is. And some of you may already know that often when we stop seeking, we actually rest into what we wanted all along: peacefulness, spaciousness, empathy, compassion. So from your forward fold, go ahead and press your palms to your shins, come halfway up. Exhale, release. And then inhale, sweep the arms out to the side with the flat back, come all the way up. And palms to the heart. So we're going to do some more work with the hips here. So with your inhale, sweep your arms down and up. With your exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward and down. Press palms to shins. Exhale, release down. Take your hands or fingertips right in front of the feet. And then I want you to lift the heels. Take the knees wide of the arms and drop down into a frog squat. So you can look at me if you're not sure what we're talking about. Good. Take a deep breath in here. With your exhale, straighten the legs. Inhale, bend the knees again, lift the heels, frog squat, heart lifts. Then exhale, straighten the legs. We'll do a few more. Inhale, bend the knees, drop and down as far as you can. Then exhale, straighten the legs. Inhale, dropping in. Exhale, coming back. Two more. Good. So coming into the pose this time, sinking the hips down, we're going to stay. And because we're staying, we can refine the posture a little bit. So the heels are still lifting here. The heart, see how high you can lift it. It's okay if your hands need to stay more on the ground here. Some of you may be able to bring one or both hands to heart. Okay. Breathe. If you are stable here, you may be able to take the arms overhead, palms together. Feel the pelvis scoop upward slightly to give you a little bit more support from the base of the body. If your eyes are open, focus them to a single non-moving point. And we need to breathe here, so please breathe. Deep breath in. And then exhale, bring the palms back down to the floor. Straighten the legs. And just stay in the forward fold for a couple of breaths. You can shift around on the feet for a moment if you need to relieve any tension in them. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side of the flat back, come all the way up. And palms to the heart. Good. So the first energy center has to do with security, food, shelter, water, safety. Everything's kind of built into that. So a lot of our desires live down there, and it's okay to want those things. In fact, it's harder to do higher spiritual work when that is not in place. So know that when we're talking about surrendering, though maybe in some distant philosophical way, it means letting go of the security of the first energy center, but right now we're not trying to do that. What we might have a little bit more work around is actually the second energy center, the sex center, which focuses on preferences, what we like and what we don't like. And already we can kind of feel our needs and wants kind of aligning with that. So Even when we do some postures, you might be like, I like this posture, or I like this sensation, or I don't like this posture, and I don't like this sensation. And I'm going to ask you to try to not qualify it as good or bad or right or wrong. Just let it be whatever it is. It's just sensation or it's just information. So with that in mind, we're going to do more with the hips. So go ahead and turn wide on your mat, feet nice and wide apart. And for now, toes pointing directly forward or even pigeon toeing slightly. Good. All right, so go ahead and sweep the arms overhead. And with your exhale, hinge at the hips and swan dive, fold forward and down. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, come all the way back up. Just getting into the lower back here a little bit. Exhale, swan dive, folding forward. Inhale, sweeping the arms out to the side, coming all the way up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, come halfway up. It's like your heart is floating above the floor. It's okay if you need to displace the weight of the body back slightly to be more stable in the feet, but try to keep the heart parallel to the floor. Neck is in line with the spine, so the back of the neck is flat, no jetting forward. Good, now keep your spine exactly where it's at right now and take your hands down onto your shins. Hopefully there's a little bit more support here for you. Take a deep breath in. With your exhale, bend your right knee forward over the toes and sink down. Then inhale, straighten the leg. Then exhale, bend the left knee forward over the toes, sinking straight down. And inhale, come back up. Exhale, first side. And back. Exhale, second side. And back. Try to keep the heart parallel to the floor the entire time. The hips and heart on the same plane. Moving from side to side. Inhale, straightening the leg. Exhale, bending the knee. A couple more times. And the next time you bend your right knee, go ahead and stay. Again, heart is parallel to the floor. If you want to, the hands can come down underneath you. And we're breathing. And again, when we work with the hips, it tends to bring up some of those preferences. You may like this, you may not like this, you may not be so sure. Can you just let it be? It doesn't have to be good or bad. There's sensation. There's the fact that your body is working hard. There's the fact that your breath is there too. Good. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Don't think about it, just do it. Bend the left knee. Sink down into that second side again, heart parallel to the floor. And just be aware of the information coming in from your body. Not your relationship to that information, but just the information itself. Maybe there's some trembling in a leg, noted. Maybe there's a stretch somewhere, that's also noted. What you may find when you stop qualifying your experience is that you have more resiliency in that experience. It's the job of the mind to qualify, so it's okay if the judgments come, but once they have arrived, just let them go, beginning that act of surrender. Inhale, straighten the left leg. And let's just go ahead and fold forward over both legs now. Knees are straight. In this forward fold, you can just have your hands hanging on the floor or toward the floor. You can grab opposite elbows like we did earlier. And some of you may want to interlace your fingers at your low back and lift your arms off the back and overhead. Breathe. If your arms are overhead, or if you're holding opposite elbows, release your hands to the floor, lift yourself up halfway. Exhale, fold down. And then inhale, sweep the arms out to the side of the flat back, come all the way up, reach the arms overhead, and palms to the heart. And again, be aware of information coming into your body, or into your mind from your body. Even if there's discomfort, even if you qualify it that much, just be with it. Go ahead and set the feet a little closer together. You shake off the feet a little bit if there is some cramping or tension in the feet. Okay, now before we move on to our next exercise will be our next exercise, but before we move on to the one after that, I want to do a little bit to get the energy in the body moving a bit more. So we'll do some arm swings. Many of you know this one already. I'll walk you through it. So you're going to have your feet about hip distance apart. And with your inhale, you're going to lift the arms up. Then you're going to inhale again, take the arms back. Then inhale a third of the breath back up. And then exhale, you're going to bend the knees, drop the body, sweep the arms behind you to inhale, come up for the next round. So I didn't preface that right at the beginning, but it's a 3-part inhale through the nose and 1 powerful exhale out of the mouth. So again, it's inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. And just go at your own pace now. Inhaling through the nose. Powerful exhale out of the mouth. And find a pace you can maintain, because we're going to go for about 2 minutes total. Try to feel the full rotation of your shoulder joints here. Up, and back. And then with your powerful exhale, feel the navel pull into the body and up, helping to clear your respiratory system. You're close to halfway done. After a while of this movement, we start to shift you out of your sympathetic or fight or flight state and ground you into your parasympathetic, more relaxation response, resting response. Even though we're still working, it can still happen. And at that time, this exercise starts to become more energetic than physical, if that makes sense. So there's energy moving through your body. Some of it is helpful right now, some of it's not helpful. Maybe there's some thoughts that aren't serving you. There's some beliefs that aren't serving you. Maybe it's just the idea that you want to surrender. But as you drop forward, there's this idea that you can throw off onto the floor, whatever it is that you want to let go of. That powerful exhale, let it go. About 30 more seconds. Let it go. Even if it's just the breath, let it go. Three, 2, and 1. Come on back up. Feel sensation in your breath rate. your heart rate, information from your body. Just being with whatever's there. And to help regulate any dysregulation in your system right now, we'll do some pranayama. With your inhale, sweep the arms overhead. And if you can, hold your breath in at the top of the inhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhale through your mouth, release the arms. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Hold the breath in. 3, 2, 1. Release the arms. Exhale out of the mouth and fold forward. Sweep the arms out to the side. Come all the way up. Reach the arms overhead. If you can, hold the breath in. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, fold forward. If you can, hold the breath out. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, coming all the way back up. Hold the breath in again. 2, 1. Exhale, fold forward. Hold the breath out. 3, 2, 1. Inhale all the way back up. One more time, hold the breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Hold the breath out. All the way up. And then palms to the heart. And that's the power of pranayama. All right. So have some water if you have any nearby. Because I definitely will. And I'm going to have you take a wide stance on your mat again. Good, and this time I'll have you have the toes pointing outward about 45 degrees. And just have your hands onto your hips to start. Good. And actually I'm going to switch that up. We're going to do a little bit more work with the arms. So go ahead and interlace the fingers, press the palms away from you, and take them overhead. We did this earlier in Virasana. So reach through the wrists, feel the tailbone tuck down slightly, and then exhale, feel the navel pull back towards your spine. Inhale, reach through the wrist, feel the tail tuck under. Exhale, navel to spine, tail still tucking down. Again, reach through the arms, inhale. Exhale, tuck the tail under, navel to spine. 2 more times. Take a deep breath in, reach. Exhale, bend both knees out toward their own toes. Sweep the arms down, palms to heart. Shoulders relax down the back. And see if you can start to become still. I know the legs are working hard here. Lower back is working hard to keep you lifted. The core is working here. But can you find some peace? Can you find some stillness as you hold this pose? Now, what happens when you make the body still is that all those little preferences, those ideals start to pop up. And I want you to just breathe with them. It's not that you're suppressing anything or repressing anything. When they come up, just acknowledge, yes, there is some discomfort there, or that leg is shaking, or this is hard for this part of you. And then be still, just be with it, breathe with it. Because even though those parts of you might have some discomfort, there's a part of you, I know this to be true, there's a part of you that is fine, no matter what. That's not seeking to run from this pose. They can find peace and contentment even here. Keep the hips sinking, you're almost done. Good, inhale, straighten the legs. Whew. Good. So what might be starting to happen is that your mindset changes as things like discomfort or shakiness or hard work start to show up. And we're going to do that just a little bit more with frog pose. So you can watch me do it first so that you have it kind of in your sight before you feel it in your body. But I'm going to step off the back side of my mat. So still wide feet, just on this side of my mat. And then from here, I'm going to fold forward and bring both hands to the other side of my mat. So I'm straddling over it. With my inhale, I'm going to lift my heels and release down onto the sides of my knees. Good. Now, if the kneecaps themselves are on the ground here, you may want to just double your mat back over like this to create a little bit more cushion so that you don't hurt yourself. Good. And then the feet themselves are going to relax arch side down. So they look like frog legs behind you, a little bit wider than your knees. From here, you release down onto your forearms. And this is mostly on camera. I'm on my forearms here. And then I'm not collapsing in my chest here. I'm keeping the shoulders lifting. I'm keeping the heart lifting. And then I'm just going to glide my hips back behind me until I hit a wall. And we all have a wall. Good. So go ahead and join me here. I'll walk you through the steps in case you're still moving there. The feet are wide on the back side of your mat. The hands are in front of you on the other side. You lift up onto the balls of the feet and then release down onto the insides of the knees. Relax the arch side of the feet to the floor, coming down onto the forearms, and then guiding the hips back behind you, chest parallel to the floor. Good. So this posture, people tend to have a relationship with, whether you've practiced it before or not. And I want you to breathe. See if you can just steady the breath, slowly inhaling, slowly exhaling, and keep the hips moving backwards. And as you stay here, these little voices are going to come up, especially the longer you stay here, saying it's uncomfortable or we need to get out of this. And what that really is at the end of the day is your sympathetic nervous system. That's your fight or flight. But what we know logically here is that there's nothing to run from. This is just yoga. We're not in any danger. So recontextualizing it, we stay, we breathe with it. That is just discomfort, not danger. Aware of that smooth inhale, aware of that smooth exhale. And then there might be some parts of you that come up that express some strong concern for your body. And here we have to have discernment. Is it true concern? Are we in danger? Or is it just real discomfort? And can we stay if it's just discomfort? And just like in our squat earlier, there is a part of you somewhere in there that is completely fine right now. That's not identifying this as good or bad, but it's just kind of, and more in an bemused way, observing your experience. It's not seeking to know when this will be over. It's not seeking to know what might happen when we're done. It's just content with observing. It's just content with being. Keep the hips moving backwards behind you. Emotions might come up that are not related to the sensation, but in some way completely are. Be with those in a loving way, not needing for them to be different, not needing for them to go away, but not over-identifying with them. About 20 more seconds. Stay with it. Keep the hips moving back. Keep the heart lifting. Keep the breath steady. And at a certain point, you actually start to wonder, how do you even get out of this pose if you wanted to? Well, the good news is I'm here to help. So when you're ready, take a deeper, fuller breath first, and then carefully walk back up onto your hands. And then from here, bring the soles of the feet together behind you, and then carefully walk the knees together. And child's pose is a good first counter pose for this. Just fold over the legs. It's helpful if your forehead can cap onto something. So if you have a pillow or a blanket, or maybe it touches the floor on its own. And there's still that part of you that is completely fine. That is just lightly being aware of the body, not assigning meaning to anything that it witnesses, but just holds that observance lovingly. Good. So when you're ready, please roll yourself up to a seat. Good job. So we just have a few more postures before Shavasana in our meditation, and we'll do them on our backs. So go ahead and come to lay down. Good. So once you come down onto your back, go ahead and bring your feet flat to the floor, heels underneath the knees, about hip distance apart. Your arms can relax down by your side. And with your next inhalation, go ahead and lift the hips, reach the pelvis toward the ceiling. And exhale, release the hips back down. Inhale, lifting up. Feet are flat on the floor here. And exhale, release on down. Let's do this 3 more times. Inhale, hips lift. Exhale, they lower. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. Now go ahead and inhale into the pose. We'll stay this time. Again, feet are grounding. All 4 corners of the feet are on the floor. Some of you may be able to interlace your fingers underneath your body and kind of shimmy onto the sides of your arms. If you're not able to, that's fine. Just stay in the previous version of the pose. But whichever one you're in, feel your heart lifting toward your chin, deepening the back bend in your thoracic spine, your upper back. Then soften your throat. Relax your jaw. And again, can you be in that gentle observance of this experience? And calm, steady breath as best you can. And take a deep breath in. And then exhale, carefully release the hips back down to the floor. Good job. Go ahead and walk your feet away from your hips about 6 inches. And then take your feet as wide apart as your mat, as your yoga mat. And your arms are just going to relax out to the side. And then with your inhale, allow your knees to fall to the right. With your exhale, ground your lower back to the floor and bring the knees back to center. And then inhale, take the knees to the left. And then exhale, ground the lower back to the floor, come back to center. And then let's just continue. Inhale, knees falling to the right. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, knees falling to the left. Exhale, back to center. Inhaling to a side. Exhaling back to center. Loosening any tension that might be built up in the hips from the practice tonight or anything that happened before the practice. And the inhaling, as we drop the knees to a side, allows us to create length in the side of the body that we're stretching or that we're turning the knees away from, and which is helping us to stretch the psoas, this big wraparound muscle from your lower back down into the groin. Now, lastly here, as we continue to move, inhaling to a side, exhaling to center, as if you'd like to get the neck involved, the chin can turn the opposite direction the knees are moving. So if the knees go to the right, the chin goes to the left, and so on. Good. Taking the knees to the right, go ahead and stay this time. It's comfortable in the neck, the chin can turn to the left. Let's just breathe here. Good. Carefully bring the knees back to center, and when you're ready, just take them to the other side. Knees to the left and chin to the right. And then carefully bring the knees back to center and bring them into your chest. And we'll transition here to bring the feet together into butterfly, holding on to the ankles, the shins, and some of you may even be able to hold on to the pinky edge of the feet, and drawing the feet in toward the body. Knees splaying wide. And then once you have that connection, I'm going to invite you into a deeper version of the pose. So generally speaking, when we come into this, people just draw the feet in toward the groin, which is fine. But if you want to feel a little bit more stretch in the hips, take the feet toward the ceiling so that they're right underneath, or right above, I should say, above the navel, and then draw the feet down straight toward the navel. I might not go that far, and that's completely fine. And as you're drawing the feet down toward the navel, think about curling your tailbone and your lower back down to the floor. So you're creating some resistance between the hands and the feet as the tailbone draws back down. To give you a lovely release in your lower back. Now keep the soles of the feet together and take the pinky edge of the feet to the floor, fairly close up toward the groin, as far up towards the groin as you can. And then just allow the knees to fall outward. Your arms can rest out to the side. If you want to, if it's comfortable, you can place hands on belly. Whichever one works for you. And tonight we've been working with primarily that second chakra, that second energy center, but by proxy, we've worked with the root and with the core or navel center as well. So just be aware of the region of the body from the navel downward toward the pelvic floor. And feel that region of your body soft and open. You might even sense a downward and outward movement of energy. In yoga, we call this movement of energy Apana Vayu, downward and outward movement of energy. And this movement or this wind is governing elimination. Of course, there's the physical elimination of waste. There's also the psychic elimination happening here, letting go of thoughts, beliefs that no longer serve us, paradigms that we've long held on to that no longer serve us. Quests that we've been on for so long that have guided us and helped us along the way, but whose natural time has come to an end. Maybe those journeys can also be let go of. Maybe you can surrender the need to be attached to a certain path, to a certain set of actions. Now, when we let go of that, sometimes parts of us come up that ask how we can move forward. It's attached to this idea that there has to be a searching or seeking going on. See if you can relax that too, the need to know what's next. Keeping this idea of the movement of energy downward and outward, just go ahead and stretch the legs out to the floor. And if you need to make any additional movements for Shavasana, do so, but make them minimal. Let's see if we can just stay here in this contemplation of this downward and outward movement of energy. Your arms relaxing to your side, the jaw soft. Sensing energy moving down and out. Peace, peace, peace. Please begin to take a deeper, fuller breath. Make some gentle movements in your hands and your feet, your arms and legs. And when you're ready, roll to your right side. And then transitioning to a comfortable seat when you feel complete here. If you're still moving to a seat, continue to take your time. But once you're there, settle in. Spine is tall, crown lifting toward the ceiling. You may still sense that downward and outward movement of energy, Apana Vayu. And just think in your mind, you don't have to get too granular, about things that you seek in your life. It can be anything from conveniences to desire to what we call necessities. So it might actually be a necessity. Maybe there's a spiritual side to that seeking. Perhaps you seek truth. You seek the way. You seek peace and love and harmony. We're not judging any of that. We're not judging any of your desires or anything that you seek. But in that, there is so much effort to continuously seek, to continuously need to know, continuously need to know what to do, where to go, how to be, especially in times of high anxiety. We seek even harder than before. I want to see if there is a part of you that doesn't have to do that job right now. There's a part of you, an aspect of you, that can simply not even be content, but just rest in not seeking. Perhaps there's knowledge that it has everything that it needs already. Or maybe it's just this space of respite that your mind can enter into right now. The other side to that coin, seeking, and not seeking. Surrendering all desire for just this moment. And what you may find as you rest into that space of non-seeking, that you receive some of what you may have been striving for. Maybe you needed space. Maybe you needed an internal place of peace and calm. And maybe not. Maybe you can just be in this boundless space of non-seeking. And as you're moving through your world, as the world continues to change and desires rise and the needs to knows rise and the seeking intensifies, just as hard as you're trying to seek, allow yourself some time to not have to simply be, simply be. A way to consider surrender. When you're ready, please take a deeper, fuller breath and bring the palms to the heart and lower the chin. Just honor everything that you desire, everything that you've been seeking, that you need. It's all valid, it's all true. And also honor the space in you that does not have to always do that. It can allow you a break to just be open and spacious. And may your effort here tonight and this practice keep you connected to both of those aspects of you. So until next time, namaste.